Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Sportsnite. This is Sportsnite episode 10.
Nice.
And we have got, I can't believe it's been 10 weeks already. Can you believe that, Steve?
No, it's been awesome.
I know. I cannot believe it's been 10 episodes already. But it is. It's episode 10, and we are doing a really good one tonight. We are doing a special Father's Day edition of Sportsnite, just like we did for Mother's Day. And tonight we're going to talk about the greatest, or what we consider the greatest father-son, father-daughter, father-child sports professional combinations in the history of sports. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And obviously with me, as usual, is one of my partner channels, my partner in crime, Steve from Steve's World. Steve, welcome in. How are you doing? I know it's kind of rough where you are right now, weather-wise. You doing okay?
Yeah, it's not too bad. We've had 4 confirmed tornadoes, all within about 30 to 40 miles of me. But it's pounding on the windows outside. But as long as we hold up power, we'll be good. Or I'll get to stream mobily for the first time ever. So we'll see how that goes.
Well, let's keep our fingers crossed, and everybody in the chat, pray for Steve that everything goes okay. Not just for the stream. That's the least of his worries, just for safety, obviously.
At least let's get through the stream before it goes out. I mean,
all right, I agree. But and of course, obviously, a few shout outs real fast. Obviously, I want to also shout out Dean over at the liveplace.com, family friendly live streams throughout the week. Dean does great. He hosts all these live streams. He's fantastic. And of course, we also want to quickly shout out to Dan, who couldn't be in Disney Fiasco tonight. Meg did fantastic filling in for him. Meg had a special guest of Matthew, her boyfriend, which was great.
Yes.
They were talking about all things Toy Story. So obviously, I want to shout out my other partner channel, Disney Dan, as well. But let's say hi to a few people in the chat before we get started. We have Joseph Andrews is here. Miguel is here. Good to see you, Miguel. Rachel Susik, welcome in. Zip's here. Zippity Doodad. Rob Fuzz, welcome in, Rob. Good to see you. Of course, Rob is our feature this week on Community Spotlight. Go out to our Twitter channel. We've been spotlighting some of his videos in his channel all week. Sent him out as 10 questions, so hopefully Rob will get those back to us for Tuesday's stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm very honored to have Rob as the spotlight this week. He's a great channel. Captain Akron, welcome in. AJC Magic TV. Shep family. Shep, welcome back. Hope you had a great trip. Jack Sandy Claus Logan's here. Steve's World's here in the chat and on the TV. And I think Randy and Dave are here. Good to see you. And I think that's everybody for now. So obviously, again, everybody, special Father's Day edition tonight. We're going to do 2 versions of this tonight. Obviously, we're going to talk about, again, the father-son, father-daughter combinations. Pete McDevitt, welcome in. And then we're going to talk about our favorite Disney dads, which I think is also going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be more favorites, but we are going to count down our top 10 combinations. And Steve, we're going to start with you, as usual.
Okay.
And who is your number 10 father-child combo?
Okay, so I'm going to make some people upset tonight, which is not an unusual thing when we do these streams. But I am going to start with Randy Couture and Ryan Couture.
UFC
and Strikeforce. So Ryan is not necessarily the greatest by any means yet, but he's got a 4-1 record in Strikeforce. But his father revolutionized UFC at his age, especially.
Yes.
He's such an incredible. I actually work with somebody that I've worked with at 2 other places. She's followed me. Her husband is a former UFC fighter, and he has a picture of him and Randy Couture, and it's so awesome. But yeah, Randy's one of the legends, and he's in the UFC Hall of Fame, I think it is. Mm-hmm. And then his son is an up and coming young. He fights just like his father, but he's not quite as big as his father. So he's gonna be a good one, and that's gonna be my number 10.
That's a great pick. That's fantastic. Randy Couture, you're right. He really was kind of a. I maybe pioneer is too big of a word, but you're right. He was really one of the originals, in my opinion, for UFC. Absolutely. And that's a great pick. I don't know as much about his son because I'm not a major UFC guy, but I agree. That's a great pick. Great combination for sure.
Well, and Randy won after he turned 40.
So. Right. Exactly. Absolutely. I want to say hi to Dougie, who's in here. Dougie, thank you for being here, buddy. And also, is it Trope W? Welcome in. Good to see you. Stefan. Okay, Stefan. Good to see you, buddy. Nice to meet you, too. And Kay Atwood's here. Kay, good to see you. That's a great pick. Absolutely. And talking about making people upset, I'm probably going to make you upset with my number 10, that it's number 10, and you probably have it higher. But don't tell me where you have it until we get there.
Don't do it.
Dreamers Empire, welcome in as well. But my number 10, for me, is Bobby and Barry Bonds.
Oh.
Okay, that's my number 10. Bobby Bonds, both of them Major League Baseball players. Bobby Bonds was a great player in his day. I'm going to take that back. He was a very good player in his day. Good player. His son Barry was a great player in his day. Borderline Hall of Famer. That's a story for another day, as to whether he is or not. But these guys were fantastic at their positions. They are great, great players. They have to make this list. Barry's better than Bobby. He was better than his dad. And they're both just fantastic players. And again, everybody in the chat, I want to hear your opinions, too, of the players you pick. Some of the ones you pick may be on our list. And for hanging in there later on, we are going to do some Disney talk as well as we talk about our Disney dads. But, Steve, what do you think of Barry and Bobby Bonds?
Don't even acknowledge him. Barry Bonds is only good because he took steroids and got caught. And I will acknowledge nothing about his professional career. So that is a story. That is a story for another day.
That is a story for another day. Rhiannon, welcome in. Everybody say hi to Rhiannon. Rhiannon is from, and Rhiannon, I hope I'm okay if I say this, from Australia, and she just had her first son not too long ago. So we're very happy for her. Rhiannon, good to see you. Good to see you for sure. I don't like Barry Bonds either, personally, and I'm probably on the same page with you when it comes to that subject. But I will say this. He was really good before he started using. But that's a whole nother story.
He was really good before he got caught. We don't know when he started using.
All right. You're right. That's a story for another day. And we're going to get Miguel on for that night. And Jeff. And maybe some others if they want. So that's my number 10. Who's your number 9?
My number 9 is kind of a combo. It's more than 2. But it's Buddy Ryan and Rex and Rob Ryan. And I know that's gonna upset some people. But as far as coaches go, there might not have been, there has been, but Buddy Ryan ranks among the best defensive masterminds in the game when he originally. His son, I know people don't like Rex Ryan. I know people don't like Rob Ryan. They're twin brothers, but they have both been incredible coaches for what they've been given. Rob Ryan might be a better defensive coordinator than his father, if he would just learn how to cut his hair and be a little more presentable. But the whole family has impacted the NFL, and they've had three of the most successful. It's probably the most successful coaching family in the NFL, in my opinion. So I'm going to go with the Ryans. That's
a great pick. Buddy Ryan, incredibly gifted well, they're all defensive coordinators, which is really funny. All three of them, Rex, Buddy, and Rob Ryan, all defensive coordinators for sure. I think that's a fantastic pick. They've all been very successful. Rex Ryan won a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
Mm-hmm. Buddy Ryan went on to be a head coach too.
Yeah, and he was a head coach as well. Buddy Ryan won a Super Bowl with the Bears. Rob's been to a Super Bowl maybe, or
I don't know. Remember. I can't remember if he was. I don't think he was the defensive coordinator when New Orleans beat Indianapolis. I don't think he was.
Okay.
But I think he came right after that. But that was as close as he would have been if he did.
Okay. All right. There you go. Jeff Dole-Whip Dad and Dean from Dreamers Empire. Welcome in to both of you. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, it's a great pick. Absolutely. Now, my next pick for me, number 9 on the list, again, we're sticking with baseball. And I'm going with Cecil and Prince Fielder. I think Cecil Fielder was a very good player, incredibly fearsome hitter, hit 50 home runs in the season one time. Actually, was pretty good first baseman, too. Great player in that respect. Great hitter, I'll say. And his son, Prince, was a very good hitter. Unfortunately, his career got cut short because of his hip, if I'm not mistaken. Or there was something, or maybe it was his neck. And those in the chat, you may know better than me. But I think Prince Fielder and Cecil Fielder are a great combination, father-son. Massively big men, but great hitters. And they both were all-stars as well, and just fabulous hitters in baseball. Steve, what do you think of that one?
They are my next pick, number 8. So,
oh, were they? Okay.
Yeah, yeah. They both had really good. I mean, Cecil Fielder had 319 home runs. His son Prince Fielder has 245. And is Prince retired?
Yes, he's been
He did
retired
retire?
for several
Okay.
seasons now. He had a physical issue, which I can't remember what it was. I think it was his neck or his back or something that he had to retire.
Okay. Well, he was doing quite well before he had to retire with his numbers. So
yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. I agree 100%. And that was your number 8. Did you want to elaborate on that one, or you want me to go into my 8?
No, there's not much more to elaborate. We're not going into a whole lot of stats and things, but no, I had those guys as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pick. They were really good, and they were both extremely fearsome hitters. And what's really funny about Prince Fielder, I'll never forget it. For such a big man, he was really fast.
Yeah, he was.
He was really fast. He could go first to third for a man his size.
Yep.
He was really fast.
Yeah, he's 6 foot and he weighed 275 pounds. So
yes.
He could move. He could move. He was an athlete for his size.
Yep. So it was his neck. According to Jeff, it was his neck. Okay, I knew it was something like that. That put his career short. Yeah, it was too bad. That's really too bad. Dean, take care, buddy. Appreciate you being here. Dean's got to step out. Everybody say goodnight to him. Thank you, Pete. I appreciate that. Okay, let's see. So my number 8 for me, I think this one's going to be high for you, Steve, probably. But the ones I have ahead of them, Andrea Houston, welcome in. Number 8 for me, Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Jr. I'm sorry. I have to include racing in this category. I know a lot of people sometimes think that racing's not a sport. I do. They have 102 career wins combined between them. Dale Earnhardt's one of the greatest NASCAR drivers ever before his untimely death. Dale's not too shabby himself. He's not quite his dad, but he's really, really good. And I'm sorry, but Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sr. for me got to make the list at number 8. What do you think of that one, Steve?
We'll see if they make my list.
Okay. So Kay Atwood says, don't forget the Barr family. Walter was the dad, a soccer player. 2 sons, Matt and Chris, both played soccer and football. I think Matt's son also plays soccer. Yeah, the Barr. Yeah, Matt Barr. He was a kicker, right, Steve? Wasn't he the kicker for the Giants?
Man, I can't remember that name. I'm actually not remembering that name.
Matt Barr. Yeah, I think he was. I think the Barr family. I think he was a kicker, if I'm not mistaken. Kay, you can remind me if I'm not mistaken, but I think they were. Or at least one of them was, because I know he played football. But okay. But yeah, that's my pick was the Earnhardt. So number 7 for you. Number 7.
I have Ken Norton Sr. and Ken Norton Jr. And this is my first combo that did not play the same sport. So Ken Norton Sr. Defeated Muhammad Ali in 1978 to become the heavyweight champion of the world. He won 42 fights, and he is a member of the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So he's a well-renowned boxer. Ken Norton Jr. Was a linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys and the San Francisco 49ers. He made it to 3 Pro Bowls, was All-Pro twice, and he won 3 Super Bowl championships as well, with 2 with the Cowboys and 1 with the 49ers. So pretty good talent in that family, especially when you didn't play the same sport.
I agree 100%, and it's funny. It was my number 7 too.
Oh, nice.
Yep. Ken Norton Sr., Ken Norton Jr., fantastic. Ken Norton Sr., the heavyweight champion of the world. He beat Muhammad Ali, maybe the greatest boxer of all time. He beat him. Ken Norton Sr. was fantastic. Ken Norton Jr., I think, in my opinion, was a little bit more of a better athlete than his dad. He was a little bit more decorated. You're right. He won Super Bowls with the Cowboys and the 49ers and was an integral part of those teams. He wasn't just a part of it. He was important parts of those teams. Ken Norton Jr. was very good, fantastic player. I agree 100%. That was my number 7 too. Where they're both champions in what they did. And, it doesn't get any bigger than that. That's what you play for. You play to win. You play for championships, and they did. Trope W, thanks for being here. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for sharing out the stream. I did see that as well. Everybody say goodnight to Trote W. Appreciate you being here. And I hope I'm saying that right. Stefan, thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Matt did play for the Giants, and Pat's also. See, I did know it. Hey, Matt Barr played for the Giants. There you go. And Steve, if you got to go, buddy, you let me know. I know that those tornadoes are in your area.
I actually think the ones that have been headed at me have gone around me now, and I think the only other ones that are near me are going to stay south. So that's what it looks like.
Fantastic. That's really good news. Awesome. Cool. So, yeah, that was also my number 7 as well, was Ken Norton and senior and junior. Great players. Great athletes for sure. So, number 6?
Well, because of my picks and who they played for, I'm going to throw in a little bit of a breaking news thing for you. Did you see the massive trade in the NBA today?
No.
Anthony Davis has been traded from the Pelicans to the Lakers for Lonzo Ball. So,
are you serious?
I'm dead serious. That is it's actually a massive trade for whoever involved. I think I think it'll help the Lakers now. I don't think it'll help them later, but leading into that, my next group is Joe Jellybean Bryant and Kobe Bryant. So Kobe was obviously with the Lakers for all those years. I'm an LA sports fan, so I liked them until they got LeBron. So now I can't root for them because that's a whole nother topic and a whole nother story. But Kobe might be, in my opinion, one of the greatest players to ever play the game. At least in my opinion, top 3. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I think what he did in his time was better than most people what they've done in their time. But I do think Kobe ranks among the best that have ever played the game. Made 14 All-Star teams, MVPs. They won championships, 5 of them, I think, in a 10-year span, something like that. His father was not as great as a player, but he was a good athlete. He played center and forward. Still scored 5,200 points in his career, something like that. 2,400 rebounds, but he only played 606 NBA games. So he did that, and then he moved on to coach the LA Sparks, which is the women's team from Los Angeles, the professional women's team. So from the WNBA. So my pick is Joe Jellybean Bryant and Kobe Bryant.
Good pick. Good pick. They did not make my list. I did see them. I think Kobe is a fantastic player. I think he's highly underrated. I agree with you. I think he's got to be in the top 5, but he's never mentioned. I personally think he's better than LeBron by a lot. That's just my opinion. I really do. If I had to choose, I would take Kobe over him.
Yep.
A lot of people don't see it that way, but that's a great pick. That's a great pick. It's funny. Good night, Dougie. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping in, everybody. Before you head out, please be sure to hit that like button. Definitely helps the stream. I appreciate it. My next pick, guess what, Steve? We're staying in the NBA as well.
Okay.
Dell Curry and Steph Curry. 2 very good players. Steph Curry is much better than his father already. Although Dell Curry was a very good ball player, great shooter. I think he ended his career with like a 40% three-point percentage. Shooting, which is like unheard of. But Dell Curry, great player. But Steph Curry, 2-time champ, maybe 3-time champ, if I'm not mistaken.
I think they won at least 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's just an unbelievable player. I just think I think if he can continue what he's doing, he will be a Hall of Famer. He's already won championships. Great shooter, just like his dad. But he's a better all-around player than his father, I think. But to me, it's Dell and Steph Curry.
Yeah,
that one.
What was that? Your number 6?
That was my number 6. Yes,
they're my number 5.
Well, they go. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I think, in my opinion, Steph Curry came out of nowhere. I mean, he was a shooter that could throw up a lot of points. Then he turned into a really, in my opinion, really well-rounded NBA player. Mm-hmm. I think they would have won again this year had they not been like riddled with the worst kind of injuries you could possibly get.
Sure.
But I mean, even Klay Thompson in his last game ripped his ACL or something like that too. So I mean, they at least had 2 of those kind of injuries. It's just been a bad thing for them. But Steph Curry is an incredible pure athlete. He doesn't look like it, but he is an incredibly pure athlete. And his body, like you said, his father Dell could shoot lights out too. So yeah, they made my number 5.
Yeah, that's a great pick. I'm responding to Miguel with my pick as to who he says that's the greatest shooter he's ever seen. I told him it's not the greatest I ever saw.
Steph Curry.
Yeah,
I'll be honest. He might be the best pure shooter I've ever seen.
Is it okay?
In my opinion.
Gotcha.
Now, other people work harder to get their shots. Other people work harder, possibly make better moves. But as far as the stroke of the ball, I would agree that I think he's the best pure shooter I've ever seen.
Okay. Yeah, I saw a guy that played for Boston.
Larry.
He was the best shooter I ever saw.
He's from my state, so
he is.
I know Larry really well. Not personally. Yeah. I wish I did.
No, I understand. Miguel says he's okay with Bird. I don't know. I never saw. There's nobody in the history of the game that I would rather have the ball in his hands, down 2, needing a 3 to win the game, than Larry Bird. But that's another story for another day. But great pick, great pick for you. So that was your number 5, was the Currys, correct?
Yep.
All right. Well, my number 5, we're going back to baseball. I think this team could have been a little bit higher, but the ones that are higher than them, in my opinion, might be the greatest at their sports, or darn close. That's why they're not. My number 5 is Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. Now, Sr. was a very good player. He can't hold a candle to his son. Ken Griffey Jr. is one of the greatest players I ever saw play in the history of the game. So far as I can remember, he has no link to any sort of steroids that I can think of. Had over 600 home runs. Probably would have had even more if he wasn't hurt so much in his career. For such a person that was hurt chronically, he was an incredibly great player, had one of the greatest swings in the history of the game, but also great defensively. He could run, he could steal bases, he was great defensively, and his father was a heck of a player too. And they did something really cool. They hit back-to-back home runs for the same team in the same game in the same inning, obviously. And that was pretty neat as well, and I remember that. So that's my pick, Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. Steve?
They're my next pick as well. So this is working out quite well
tonight.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, they're it's an incredible dude. Look, Ken Griffey Jr. Again, when you talk about players across the history of baseball, and you get into these lulls and everything, and maybe it was just because when I was growing up, that's when I remember everything, but that was another turning point. He was another player that I don't want to say revolutionized. He didn't revolutionize baseball, but he revolutionized the type of player that people look at now. And he kind of, in my opinion, he kind of became the guy everybody wanted to be. As far as we know, a very model person. He didn't use steroids, things like that.
Yeah, I agree.
So, unless he didn't get caught, but you never know. But I mean, he did things, in my opinion, all the right ways, and he was a really good baseball player on top of it all. So, but yeah, that was my next pick as well.
So that was your number 4?
That was my number 4.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Griffey Sr. And the thing about it was, and look, most of us out there, if we're very lucky, we love our dads. Junior loved his father. That was like his idol growing up. He loved his dad, and it was great to see it. Senior was a better player than people give him credit for. The problem is they look at his son, and it's kind of hard to compare the two. I mean, Junior is just
and that's the problem with a lot of these duos is one of them's not usually as good as the other one. And so, when you're talking about the best in the, whatever, very few times do they live up to each other. And that's, we'll get into some of that with some of my next picks, but they, so if one's pretty good and the other one's great, they qualify in my book because it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't happen often. I want to say hi to Samantha Lowe and Meg. Mickey's Magic, welcome in. Cargo says, Meg, welcome to the Ice Cream Club.
Yes.
I think they started that last Saturday.
Yes, I love ice cream.
Welcome in, everybody. Thanks for hanging with us. Second half of the show, we're talking Disney dads, so hang in there. My number 4, people are going to be probably upset with this one, but for me, Even if the offspring never plays the sport.
That's what I was just reading too.
Miguel, I'm sorry, buddy. Tiger's great, but he's not Jack Nicklaus. I'm sorry. We're not there yet.
He could have been, and he may still be one day, but
woulda, coulda, shoulda. He ain't there yet.
One of those things. It's another one of those things. When you get caught, it just destroys your game. I mean, no, I agree. I agree 100%. I'm agreeing with you.
Sorry, Jack's Jack, and until he beats that number, he's the greatest. I'm sorry. Tiger's great, but
I will say this though: Jack had to beat a much weaker field than Tiger had to beat every time.
You think so?
I do. We'll talk. That's a great debate topic. I'm going to put that down for a topic. Go ahead. Your next pick. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we gotta definitely talk about that night. Good Lord. Tiger Woods and whoever his offspring is. You're funny. That's funny. All right. So my next pick's number 4. Now everybody's probably gonna shake their heads at this one, but this is just my opinion, and they probably say, well, it should have been probably 10. It's Muhammad Ali and his daughter Layla Ali. And here's why. She might be the greatest female boxer, not UFC, boxer in the history of female boxing. He is, in my opinion, the greatest heavyweight champion to ever don the gloves in the history of boxing. So, to me, they both could be the GOATs in their respective sports. It's a little bit less with Layla only, but she was fantastic in her sport. And that's my next pick is Layla and Muhammad Ali.
I looked at them. I put them on my honorable mention. I'll be honest with you, I'm not even sure I know much about Layla, but at the same time, I couldn't tell you another single female boxer in the world.
I understand.
So I'm not degrading that sport. I'm just saying I'm not sure she had much to do to get to the top, but I don't know much about it. So I did put them on my honorable mention.
Good. There you go. Yep. So that's my number 4. Now we're getting down to the big ones. And number 3 for you.
Number 3 for me was Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the very fact that we talked before. Dale Sr. dominated his sport for a long time. Dale Jr. was the most popular driver at his time and was still pretty good at it.
Yeah.
But just that passing and the love for each other. Of course, I remember where I was when I heard that, and I'll be honest with you, I did not like Dale Earnhardt Sr. I respected him and respected what he did, but he wasn't my driver, which I don't have drivers anymore because I don't watch racing. But
the Intimidator, right?
yes. But Dale Earnhardt Sr. and Dale Earnhardt Jr. I remember where I was standing when that wreck happened. It was with Sterling Marlin, I think it was. It wasn't Sterling Marlin's fault necessarily. Watch Dale go up just like any other crash, and for whatever reason, the whole seatbelt fiasco hit and it snapped his neck. Whatever that happened, but a legend died that day. And his son, I can remember his son's reaction, getting out of his car, jumping into the ambulance with his father. You could see the love for his father there, and it's just one of those sports where that combo was one of the greater combos in sports history, in my opinion. So that was my number 3.
Yep, great pick, absolutely. Again, 2 great ones. Dale Earnhardt Sr. was fantastic, and Jr.'s pretty darn good himself. I agree 100%. They definitely made my top 10. So my number 3, I think this one's going to make your list maybe. They're both Hall of Famers. It doesn't get any better than that. They're both Hall of Famers. And that's Bobby and Brett Hall, NHL. They're both Hall of Famers in their sports. Bobby Hall was a great player. Brett Hall was a great player. I don't know a ton about the NHL, but I do know these 2 guys. How often do you see a dad make the Hall of Fame and then a son make the Hall of Fame for the same sport? Bobby and Brett Hall for me. Steve?
Well, my next pick is Bobby and Brett Hall. So they were both incredible at their game, and it is one of the, I don't know if it still holds true, but I believe they may still be the only father-son combo both elected to the same Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I think so.
And they were both phenomenal players. Bobby scored 610 goals. Brett is 3rd on the all-time NHL list with 741. So, I mean, in my opinion, I think his son was a little better, but Bobby Hull was even MVP of the NHL twice. He led the NHL in scoring 3 different times. I mean, these guys are just highly, highly decorated hockey players.
I know.
There is no, I mean, they could have been, and could have been higher on my list, maybe, but which at number 2 is pretty high, but they are both, two of the best. It is probably one of the best father-son combos in all of sports.
I agree. I absolutely agree 100%. That's a great number 2. My number 2 is, I think, always overlooked, and it shouldn't be. It's Lee and Richard Petty. Lee Petty was a great, great driver in his day. He actually won 2 titles. But his son, Richard Petty, is still highly regarded as the greatest NASCAR driver in the history of NASCAR. 7 titles, 200 wins by himself. Dale Earnhardt and his son only won 100. He won double that by himself. He is probably the greatest NASCAR driver in the history of NASCAR, and his dad wasn't bad either. He won 2 titles himself. So for me, it's Lee and Richard Petty. See?
They made my honorable mentions, and the reason why I didn't put them on the list is because, again, they raced in a different time and what I think was a much, much less competitive time. And yes, they won a lot. I'm not downgrading their abilities or their achievements at all. I think that Dale were much better as a father-son combo than Lee and Richard were, but Richard for sure is probably one of the most notable names, if not Dale, than Richard. So yeah, that's a great pick.
Yep, there you go. So now we're down to number 1, and I'm sure we both have the same because I already know who yours is.
We should have the number 1, and it's not a homer pick by any means. It's because it's right, because you have it too, and that is Archie and Peyton and Eli Manning.
Yeah.
So
I agree. That was my number 1 too.
So Peyton Manning, and I don't care what anybody says, may be the greatest quarterback to ever play the game. His numbers are better than, I know people want to say Tom Brady. His numbers are better. We had that stream a couple weeks ago. Go back and watch the numbers. He outdoes Brady on almost every category in less seasons. He still owns a massive amount of titles. He even went to Denver Broncos for a couple of years after a career-ending surgery and won a title as well. But he's in my opinion the best quarterback to ever play the game. His brother Eli has won multiple Super Bowls, beating Tom Brady and the New England Patriots on some of those that I don't know how they did it. But I think Eli Manning would have been better had he benefited from better coaching and sometimes better teams. And then their dad Archie, of course, was a great player in his own right. Not quite the player that Peyton is by any means, but between the 3 of them, they are, in my opinion, the greatest family duo or trio in the history of sports.
Great pick. Let me just say hi real fast to Disney Fanatic. Said they just found our channel. Thank you. Welcome in. Everybody say hi to Disney Fanatic. I'm sorry. Thank you for being here. We hope you enjoy it. Tonight is Sports Night. We're doing a special Father's Day Sports Night, but we are going to talk Disney dads in a little bit, so we hope you stick around. But welcome in. And Steve, I agree 100%. Archie Manning was a great player on a horrible team in the Saints. They were horrendous, and he was great. I can only imagine what he would have been like if he was on good teams. But Eli Manning, very good player, borderline Hall of Famer, multiple Super Bowl wins, and Peyton is one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. I agree. He's right there. I don't think he's the greatest quarterback of all time. We've already had that conversation, but he's right there with me too. See, I know you don't count Super Bowl wins as much. See, you play to win, so you have to count them.
You do. It is a stat for sure.
Well, it is what you play for.
But you can be the best player on the worst team and never win a Super Bowl.
I understand that, and you'll be remembered for that, though.
Yep.
Dan Marino's not the greatest of all time, which I think he would be if he had won Super Bowls.
Possibly.
Yeah.
But yes, Super Bowls are a stat that help, but it doesn't make or break a person's career for me. Not my opinion.
No, it doesn't. No, I know people that, hey, Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. He ain't better.
Yeah, exactly. So I do want to throw this out there. I saw Zippity Doodad put Patrick and PJ as my number 1. Patrick is a Hall of Fame fantasy football player, and PJ did just win the Little League flag football ring. I don't know if you saw it.
Yep.
So Patrick and PJ, Zippity Doodad #1. So
that's funny. Well, it's funny. It's funny you said that because I almost put Walter and my oldest and I on there because him and I play on the same volleyball men's league on Wednesday nights, and we've won three-time champs in our division.
Nice. Well, yeah. My dad and I played softball together, but that's about it. But
there you go. See?
Zip I didn't realize Zip had joined myself in the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame yet. So congratulations. Welcome to the club, buddy.
God, yeah. And Disney Fanatic said, do you think Tom Brady is one of the best of all time? I think he's one.
Absolutely. I agree. He is.
I agree. I do think he is one of the best. But
I want to say when we talked about all-time quarterbacks, I think he was in the top 5. I don't remember if he was 3rd or 4th, in my opinion. I think he was 3rd. I think I had Peyton obviously was the best in my opinion. And I go by numbers, and when I looked at all the numbers, Brett Favre's numbers were way better than Tom Brady's. Now Tom will pass Brett. I know what you say. It's all about other stuff. It's about numbers and stats for me. And I think Brady will pass Brett with numbers, but we'll see.
Meg, I got your joke. Meg said she just found this channel too, and she says I'm faking my name as Walt. For Walt Disney.
Because since Walt is streaming, she has to pull off the dad jokes.
Exactly. Oh, that's so funny. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. So real fast, Steve, I want you to go down some honorable mentions. I'll give you a couple of mine real fast, and then I'll have you finish up with your honorable mentions.
Okay.
Felipe and Moise Alou.
Yep.
Very good. All the Boones, Bob Boone, Aaron Boone, Brett Boone, Cal Ripken Sr., Cal Ripken Jr., who's a Hall of Famer, Billy Ripken, good ball player. Wasn't anywhere near what his brother was, but great family of baseball there. Mel Stottlemyre had Todd and Mel Jr. Yogi Berra had his son Dale Berra, who was a very good catcher. The Alomars. Nobody ever thinks about Sandy Alomar Jr. and Sr. And, of course, Roberto Alomar is a Hall of Famer. He's great. Howie Long and Chris Long. The Andrettis, Mario Andretti, Michael and John Andretti. The Unsers, Al Unser Jr. And then lastly for me, and this one I think a lot of people forget about, Calvin Hill and his son Grant Hill.
Yep.
That's mine. That's my honorable mentions.
Okay, so on mine, I had the Petties, the Ripkins, the Longs, the Boones, the Alous, the Andrettis, the Unsers, like you did. And the only other one that I didn't have, I put Oliver and Andrew Luck because I think they're going to Andrew's a really good quarterback. He's a lot better than his father was, but I think just mentioning those names, I think they're pretty decent. They were enough to make my honorable mention.
There you go. Jeff says, please tell me the Bonds are on the list. Well, Jeff, they were on my list. They made my list. They didn't make Steve's list.
In case you forgot, Jeff, Barry Bonds enhanced his abilities to make baseball good for him, and he didn't even get an honorable mention from me, and he never will.
We're going to have that conversation that night. Folks, when we have that conversation that night,
Jeff will be there.
You have got to show up for that one because that one's going to be an explosive one for sure. And we're going to get Miguel in here on that one too. Yes, Miguel. Grant Hill was very much derailed by injuries. I still think that Grant Hill is the greatest Duke player to come out of Duke. My opinion, but I do. I really do.
Miguel says Bonds was good before he ballooned, but
that's what I said.
But he was okay before he ballooned, but steroids don't kick in. You don't balloon immediately. So he was using them to get good and then got big.
Meg wants to know when we're doing Sportsnite hockey version. Very soon, Meg, and we're going to get you on for that because I'm not the hockey expert.
Yep.
So you're going to have to help us with that one. So there we go. So there you go, folks. That's our father-son, father-daughter, greatest combos in the history of professional sports. But now, for the next 20 minutes, we want to talk Disney dads. And these are just our favorites. Not necessarily top 5, top 10, just the dads that we like and the ones that I think are important dads. Because there's a lot of them that are out there, but they don't play big roles in these movies. These are some of the ones I like. Either I like their character or I think they're an important part for me. But that's just me. But Steve, who's one of the first ones you have?
Okay, so I'm going to cheat and go with Elias Disney, because without him, we wouldn't be here talking. We wouldn't have any movies. We wouldn't have anything without Elias Disney, the father who started everything by being, in case you didn't know, he's Walt Disney's father.
Yep.
I think we need to pay homage to Elias Disney as a father-son combo in Disney World, but again, without Elias and Walt, we wouldn't have anything. We wouldn't be here talking. None of us would know each other. So, I think we gotta pay honor to Elias.
Good pick. I agree 100%. Welcome in, by the way, Janine Disney DIY. Thanks for being here. Pocket aces out of the gate with that one. Pete says you play pocket aces out of the gate with that one.
I did. I go for the win.
Yeah, I can't really improve on that, but I will try. For me, I think he's the best dad in Disney animated movies. I think for most of us, we would agree. He is such an important role in his movie, and he's really not even in it that long, and that's Mufasa from The Lion King. He is by far probably my favorite Disney animated character. I think he makes the movie. I think I hope everybody has seen that his death in the movie is the catalyst for obviously what happens after. And I absolutely love who he is as a dad. I've always said that was the dad I wanted to be. Growing up was the dad that gave the information, gave the knowledge, gave the love, but understood sometimes it took tough love. So for me, it's Mufasa from The Lion King. Steve?
Oh yeah, I mean, well, obviously every one of these is on my list, but Mufasa is one of the greatest characters in all of Disney films, and to be played by James Earl Jones with that voice is just a cherry on the top. But yeah, that scene obviously where his brother Scar betrays him, kills him. Most people talk about that as one of the most emotional scenes, if not the most emotional scene in all of Disney movies. But yeah, Mufasa is definitely a good one.
Yep. Hey, Corey Meets World's in here. Corey, thanks for stopping in, buddy. We appreciate it.
Corey?
Hope you're doing well. And Ray J's here. Ray J, welcome in. I know you're over in Indonesia. It's probably Sunday for you. And real fast, before I forget, because I forget all the time, and Steve has to remind me, I want to say Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there. It's a big day tomorrow for all the dads. Hope you all enjoy your day with your family and your children and your wives. We have important roles in the world. The moms obviously have their roles are incredibly important as well. But enjoy your day tomorrow with your children, and Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, and to the moms who may have to be dads as well.
Yep, and also Happy Father's Day, even if you're not a father, to those people that are a father figure to someone else, or a big brother, or somebody that has someone that looks up to you.
Yeah.
Happy Father's Day to you as well.
Yep. Even if you're a dad role model, it all counts. And enjoy that day tomorrow. Mario the Barber, welcome in, and we will definitely be nice to Corey. We promise. But yeah, definitely Happy Father's Day to all the dads tomorrow for sure. But Mufasa, Steve. Who's next for you?
I'm gonna go with Maurice from Beauty and the Beast.
Crazy old Maurice.
Crazy old Maurice. No, Maurice is a little out there, but loves his daughter tremendously. Yes. He goes off to the World Trade Fair. He likes to invent things. He likes to do all this. So he is a bit eccentric, but he loves his daughter with a passion. Goes after her when she gets, or let's see, he went off and she went after him. So you could see her love for him. Sorry, it's been a while since I've seen the movie. But then, he told his daughter to go away, let him rot in the cell, basically, because he had been there, or, he was near the end of his life. But then he never stopped giving up, even when people made fun of him for talking about a beast. Yeah. His struggle to get back to his daughter was real. And so I'm going to pick Maurice. Great pick. I agree. He made my list too. I love Maurice. He's so much fun. And you're right. He loves his daughter unconditionally. He's an awesome pick. I agree 100%. The next one for me, I know we're getting close to time here, is my buddy, my favorite of the Fab Five. Yes, he's my favorite. It's the Goofster. It's Goofy. I love Goofy. He's a great dad, great role model for Maxie, his son Max.
I love him. I think he's awesome. He's a child in his own right, and sometimes Max kind of has to be the dad to him in some ways. But I love Goofy. I think he's fantastic. He's an awesome dad. He talk about dad jokes. He is a dad joke, but it's Goofy for me. Steve?
No, he's a great pick, and a lot of people don't remember not necessarily Goofy, but some of these other ones that didn't become dads till their sequels. But Goofy kind of, you don't ever see Max until like a Goofy movie and some of these later films. But no, that's a great pick.
Thank you. What about you? What's next for you?
I'm going to play towards the audience here and for Meg and go with Zeus. Hercules gets robbed in everything, so Zeus has to be mentioned as one of the greatest fathers ever.
He made my list. He
was the god. I mean, he's the Greek god Zeus, and he created the it's another one of those brother versus brother struggles, and he created the best, I don't know, half mortal, half god, I guess, in the world, and Hercules. And yeah, Maggie, I thought you would like that. So, but yes, Zeus is next on my list. Just it's such a great character, and Hercules is such a great movie.
And Miguel was so funny. Miguel says Zeus. He has children who fight and kill each other and are constantly at war. Well, I mean, no dad's perfect.
Hey, some kids rebel against their parents.
Yes, they do. But that being said, I agree 100%. I think Zeus was there for his son. He did what he could. Obviously, he couldn't do everything for him. He had to let him do it himself. Had to let him have the growing pains. I agree 100%. I love Zeus as well. Let's see. Zeus in the movie is a great dad, but in mythology, he is horrible. That's probably true. It doesn't mean the best gift ever, and now I'm crying. I'd have to see that one.
Well,
or you have to tell us what gift it is.
Well, that's what I was just typing in there. So on the stream the other night, my buddy Shep was with Corey Meets World, and I asked him to dance, and I don't know if what he did is considered dancing, but I made a GIF of it with dancing to "I'm Sexy and I Know It" from LMAO, whatever that group is. And so I put it all together and sent it to Shep. So I'm guessing that's what he sent him. So
that's funny. Oh my goodness gracious, you guys! I'm sorry I missed it. I'll have to go watch the replay. But good pick on Zeus for sure. The next one for me is we're gonna go Nemo and we're gonna talk Marlin. I think Marlin's a great dad. He goes across the world for his son. He'll go through anybody. He'll do anything. He'll risk his life until he finally finds his son. So for me, it's Marlin. Great dad.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he searched halfway around the world.
Yeah.
I mean, he swam halfway around the world. Yeah. He's one of those that put his kid in a bubble, but it was all with good intentions. And he, great pick. He's on. I mean, of course, they're all on my list, but yeah, he's definitely on the list.
Yeah, he did. I mean, he did anything for his son. He risked it all to get him, and he would go anywhere to find him. Meg says Marlin, the least funny clownfish in the world. That's true. Yep, Miguel said it. He overcame his fears to save his son. Absolutely. Yep. So there you go. That's my next one. Who's next for you?
Next for me is James from Princess and the Frog, which is, he's not in the movie a lot, but it's from he's Tiana's father. His his love for his daughter and her basically he kept her thinking of her own dreams, had a dream for her with her, and they kind of extended that. He obviously passed early, but he was still her inspiration and her drive for opening her own restaurant. And of course, her mother gave her his gumbo pot. But yeah, he never let his daughter give up on her dreams, and then he wound up becoming the inspiration for her to achieve them. So my next one is James.
Great pick. Great pick. I know you guys are going to kill me. I've never seen Princess and the Frog.
What did you just say?
I did.
I was getting ready to write something. I thought maybe you said something different, but
well, pay attention. No,
dude, it's in my top 3 Disney movies. It's really, really good. The music is fantastic. It's all It's all New Orleans.
Thinks that the Wizard of Oz isn't a musical.
It's not a music. Well, that's another stream. That's another stream.
Welcome in, Juan Rodriguez. Good to see you, buddy. That's it, Walt. Stream's canceled.
Yes.
You sure are canceled. I've not seen it. I'm sorry. Cargo's offended. That's my homework. There you go. I'll watch Princess and the Frog. There you go. Kay said I have homework. Well, my next pick, maybe this will get everybody, back on my good side, or I'm on their good side at this point, is Crush. Also from Nemo.
Dude,
he is an awesome dad. His kids love him. Let me tell you. His son thinks he is God. He really does. He thinks he is the cream in his coffee, the apple of his eye. He is the man. And it's because of how he is with his son. He lets him learn the hard way, but he trusts in his son that he'll do the right thing and that he will be successful. Great role model to his son and his Crush for me.
Oh yeah, it's one of the most entertaining characters in that movie too. It's not there long, but he got his own Turtle Talk with Crush. He's got his own attraction.
Yeah, his own attraction. Yep.
So, anyways, yeah.
There you go. Next for you, couple more.
Next for me, I'm going to go with King Frederick, who is the father to Rapunzel in Tangled. You don't get to see him a lot, but just the knowledge of, he rules a kingdom where they have a celebration on her birthday every year so that even if something had happened to her, they would never let the memory of her die. And it has one of the single greatest scenes, in my opinion, of all of Disney movies with the lantern scene on her 16th birthday, I think it is. So I'm going to go with King Frederick just because even when his daughter was lost, he never gave up.
Never gave up
memory.
I agree. Yep. There you go. It's a great pick. I agree 100%. King Frederick is fantastic. That's an awesome pick. Good job there. Next one for me, and I'm kind of going with the obvious ones, I think, on most of them. But for me, it is King Triton.
Mm-hmm.
King Triton from The Little Mermaid is fantastic. Again, a dad who is an incredible role model, would do anything for his daughters to the point that he even gave up his throne and his life, basically, for his daughter to save her. To when he signed everything over to Ursula, he did anything for his daughter and gave it all up. It's King Triton for me.
Yep. Oh no, he's great. And when you have 7 daughters, that man deserves a medal anyway. So is King Triton. He ruled the seas and he was fair but just.
Yep, I agree 100%. Miguel says, Juan Rodriguez says, what about King Friday from Mr. Rogers? I love Mr. Rogers personally.
Miguel said he's got a 16-year-old who ran away from home. Come on, Walt, let's raise the bar.
But she loved her father.
Yes.
She did love her father. I don't know. I don't have daughters. I just have sons. What do I know? Next for you, Steve.
Next for me is Kerchak, which is from Tarzan. He is not a person, but he's the father of the gorillas. Even though he does everything to protect his, is it a pride of gorilla? I can't remember what it's called. His group of gorilla. And he does everything he can to protect them. Even though he's resistant to Tarzan being a human, he eventually accepts him, lets his wife accept him anyways, kind of raises him. Tarzan looks to him as a father. And then, towards the end, he even tries to save Tarzan from fighting, and Tarzan saves him from fighting. So just to be able to take another species and make it your own, he deserves some kudos.
There you go. Steve's really thinking about this, guys.
Well, the left side is my obvious, and the right side are the ones. So I'm leaving the obvious ones to you if you want them. So
okay. Well, the next one for me is Mr. Incredible.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great dad. He does everything for his kids. He's a real superhero.
Yes,
but he is. He's a great dad. He's another great role model. Does anything for his children, and he does it while he's fighting crime as well. So it's Mr. Incredible for me.
Oh yeah, that's a great one.
He's looking at the storms.
So yeah, my hometown where my parents live, the last one's getting ready to pass through them. So
let us know by all means.
They
put hearts in the stream, please, for Steve's mom and dad. Hopefully everything will be okay.
It should be okay.
Yes,
They rarely see it, but it's just one of those things where, we don't normally get tornadoes, and I think there's been 4 confirmed ones today in Indiana.
sure.
So, but it's getting ready to pass. All right, my next one is Chief Powhatan, which is Pocahontas' father, and again raising a daughter, a defiant daughter who wants to be adventurous, wants to go out on her own and explore. A new race of people come in, and she's accepting. He has trouble accepting them, which, everything is we know all the story of Pocahontas, but to deal with that and to finally be a voice of reason and accept other people that are not like him. He's just a great father.
Yep. No, that's a great pick. Yep. I agree 100%. A great pick for sure. And again, not somebody you see a ton of, but he's an awesome pick. And Miguel, it's actually funny. He said that. He talked about Geppetto. Does he count? He was my next pick.
He's my next pick too.
Oh, was he? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think he counts as a dad. Everything he did for Pinocchio led him down the right path. I mean, he swayed off that path a little bit. I think all kids kind of have that time when they do that. But he was there for him. He did everything he would for him. He went out to go and find him. And ultimately, his love for his son and his love back helped him become a real boy. And yeah, Geppetto for sure.
Yeah, he physically created him and then wished him to life.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, he got swallowed by a whale and lived inside the whale until he met up with Pinocchio to get out. That's how much he loved his son, to be able to go look for him. So, yes, yeah. Geppetto for sure.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, who hasn't been swallowed by a whale before for their son?
Yeah, no doubt.
I mean, but for those that haven't, they would think that would be kind of crazy.
Yep.
I know I have 3 times this week. No, I'm just kidding. But no, that's a great pick. I agree 100%. And then the last one for me is just a fun one. I think he's funny. I love him. I think he's fantastic. It's the Sultan from Aladdin.
Mine too.
He's fantastic. I mean, ultimately he changes the laws for his daughter so that she can marry the one she loves. So he does that for her. But he's fantastic. He's just so funny. He has to make my list as the Sultan.
Yeah, he made mine as well. That was the next one after Geppetto on mine. So, yeah, he, in a time of that, realistically, women were oppressed and were not allowed to be rulers and this, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. He changed the rules of the law for his daughter. So
yeah, ones that could, back then at that time make him very unpopular, but. Yep. But he did it. He didn't care. He loved his daughter, and that's the way it was. But no, I think he's so funny too. It's just he's Meg said it, cute, fat, tiny man.
And then and Ray J just asked what about Darth Vader, which Darth Vader, which means Dark Father. Yep. Darth Vader, honestly, yeah, he turned out to be a pretty good dad, I think.
Maybe there turned out to be good in the end. I don't know if it was that good dad.
I mean, how old was Luke? 30. So maybe the first 29 and 3/4 years of his life, he wasn't a great dad, but he turned out to be good.
Yeah. And Pongo, Disney Fanatic said Pongo from 101 Dalmatians, good pick as well. Yeah, I agree. There you go.
Yeah. So, I mean, I had a monster list. I wrote down all of them pretty much, but Prince Eric was a dad in the sequel to Little Mermaid. Simba was a dad. A lot of people forget about that. Tramp, King Fergus, George Darling, the father of the Peter Pan children.
Yeah, I agree.
King Stefan. Yeah, there's a lot more on there.
Yep. Miguel says, I'm putting way too much pressure on myself if this is the good dads.
And Greg's Disney Adventure said, happy Father's Day to us. So thank you, Greg. We appreciate that, buddy.
Thanks, Greg. We appreciate that very much. Thank you, buddy. Yeah, Meg, that's probably a good point. I don't know how good of a dad George Darling was. He didn't seem like it in the show, but maybe he was in the background.
You didn't say they had to be good dads. You just said Disney dads.
That's true. Well, we all want good dads. No, but there you go, folks. But we are coming up on 1 hour for our stream. We hope everybody had a good time with this. It just, with Father's Day, we did a special Mother's Day when we talked about female athletes and moms and Disney moms, and we wanted to make sure that we did the same for the dads this week, and we really hope everybody enjoyed that. Just a couple of things real fast, just some some plugs if we could. Obviously, for Community Spotlight this week, Mouse Talk here, I and Melissa and I, we are spotlighting Rob Fuzz. For those that don't know, if you haven't gone out to Rob's channel, please do so. If someone can put Rob's link to his channel in the chat, I would really appreciate that. Rob's got a great channel. He's very close to 2,000 subs. Does a lot of different things. He has his Frankie Fridays. He has Pub Talk and other things as well. Please go check him out. We try to post a video from Rob's channel every day this week. And then hopefully on Tuesday during Mouse Madness, Rob will be answering the 10 questions that I send out to everybody during their spotlight. So be sure to check that out for Rob. Obviously, my two partner channels. Steve, we'll start with you, buddy. Anything coming up?
Oh, I got a lot coming up. So I do my show on Monday nights at 8 o'clock, which this week is Impossible Disney Trivia again. It's the Toy Story version in honor of Toy Story 4 coming out. I have something that's unique to my channel that I've never done before that I think everybody should go check out. It's called a loop giveaway that was started by Christie's Corner. There are 13 different channels that are involved. And the way that works is everybody goes to the video. You have to subscribe, like, and comment on all 13, and then one person will win the prizes from 13 different channels. It's pretty incredible, and it's been a lot of fun to be involved. I think you have till Friday, maybe, something like that. So get out there and go check out that video. And then lastly, I also have another show that we've recently started called Dis and That. I do it with the Shep family, Zippity Doodad, and Brandy and Dave. We have an incredibly funny time. Wednesdays at 9:30. And it's a late night deal. We stream for a couple hours, and we try to pick a topic and stick to it, but we don't really stay on topic. Sometimes we get off topic, which is there's a lot of inside jokes with this group. So you got to come out and watch it. We have a great time. It's just more like four guys just hanging around and talking more than anything, but it's fantastic. You guys got to come out and check it out Wednesday at 9:30. And we rotate channels, and this week it'll be on my channel. Nice. And we will be discussing all the Toy Story movies as well as Toy Story Land, since it's the 1 year anniversary is coming up.
Gotcha. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We definitely will. Obviously, as well, Disney Dan, our partner channel, our other partner channel, Disney Dan. Please sure to check out his channel as well. Links to both Steve's channel and Dan's channel are in the description below. Obviously, Dreamers Empire, Dean, the live place again for family-friendly streams. He streams all of these, and he does a great job hosting. And then finally for us, Tuesday nights, Mouse Madness. Thursday nights is Disney Talk with Melissa and I. And, of course, Saturday nights we're in here. And we try to post videos here and there. Please go out and check out some of our most recent vlog videos. I think they're kind of fun videos with some fun stuff in there. Be sure to check them out. I have another one coming out really, really soon. And then other than that, the last thing I want to say is Happy Father's Day to all the dads again. The greatest day in my life was the day I married my wife. And I'm not an inventor, but the two greatest inventions in my life were my sons. There's nothing more important to me than my children. It's the biggest honor I could ever have, and I'm very lucky to have the two children I have. So all those dads out there that are great, thank you for what you do, and we appreciate all of you. And everybody have a great night. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Happy Father's Day to all the guys, all the dads, all the moms, and everybody who does that. It means a lot. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.